Good Tuesday, everybody, and welcome once again to Pins on Campus. I am Mark Jeffries along with Jonathan Byer, and we're going to talk college bowling and anything else that we want to talk about. Dude, I'm a little flustered here. We just had a tornado warning. We are starting the show late. There is really bad weather about 5 minutes north of where I'm at right now. But it's passed, and we're going to do the show.
Hey, little did we know a podcast can have a weather delay, but here we are.
Let's see here. Here, check this out. There we go. This is Mike Morgan.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay, and let's see if you can see my mouse. Okay, I'm right here, right where the arrow is.
Right in the thick of it. Did you get a good view?
I saw the wall cloud. Oh yeah, it was quite impressive. So, have you ever been in a tornado, Jonathan?
I've been in some close calls, you could say.
I've been in 3.
Have you?
Yeah, I've actually been in the storm shelter in 1, and we cracked it open and saw the tornado go by in front of the house.
Oh, wow.
And then we got out, and then we went down the road. We're like, ooh, that messed up some stuff. Roof's gone, trees over, cars upside down. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then we lived in Moore, Oklahoma, Tornado Alley for 2 years there, and was in 2 of the big tornadoes there and saw it go across our neighborhood just to the north. And then when I was working for UPS, saw a tornado in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Sat there at the UPS building as we watched the tornado totally demolish the shopping mall that was across the street. Yeah, man, I've been there. I've been in the trenches. I know.
Hey, when you live in this part of the country, it's part of it.
And I don't have a storm shelter. Imagine that. Why would anybody live in Oklahoma without a Frady hole? Or a safe room.
Or just hope you have a house with brick. At least gives you a little bit better fighting chance.
Man, F5s, they don't care about brick.
That's true. Well, if you get up to F4, F5, it doesn't matter what
it doesn't matter.
House is made out of. It's
safe room. The safe rooms that they build today are supposed to be able to withstand an F5.
Yeah, it's like a shelter built inside the house. Yeah.
But it came out of nowhere. Cool. We were at practice. Wrap practice up a little late, got home, nothing on the radar, nothing in the sky, little poofy clouds here and there. And I'm getting ready for the show. And then all of a sudden, here comes my wife, Carolyn, running down. Hey, we got a tornado warning. What? I go outside and I look to the west and there's a wall cloud right there. So
you're like, oh,
it was kind of nuts. Been there, done that, but we are safe for now. But not so much for people north and to the east of where we're at in Muddle, America, halfway in between Mustang and Tuttle. So a late start to the show. Our guest, he's already here. I had him scheduled for 7 o'clock. We'll get him on here in a few minutes, and we're going to kind of set it up. Our guest, Joshua Atkinson, reached out to me and you, and it had some stats for us, and we're going to go over those stats, and I actually did some color coding. He doesn't know about my color coding. All right. Now, this is what this guy does for a living. He is a statistical genius. I'm giving him major props. He's also a former collegiate bowler, too.
Hey, that's important to this conversation.
Yes.
That matters. Yeah.
Yes. Here, let me get rid of this real quick. But we have a couple other things that I just want to throw out there before we bring him in. One, did you get the sad news today? I am crushed.
Yeah. I know you would be.
I can't believe
the vintage stuff,
Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean,
the days
you had to
of
see
the
it
yellow
coming.
dot, the white dot, the blue dot, the red dot, the Sure-D. Gone.
Yep.
Done.
That's it.
Finished. Columbia is going away. Never to return. Now, I ask you this. Did the price of white dots just go up?
There's plenty of other plastic ball options out there. I don't think so.
Now,
maybe some of the cooler colors, maybe.
yeah.
But
Now, you're not old enough to remember this, but back in 1977, Columbia came out with a series of white dots. And one of those white dot balls was a caramel edition. And if you had a serial number that was 7V, it was priceless. That was the serial number that everybody wanted. You know why? Because they messed up and the hardness on the 7V white dot was like 71. And back in the 70s, that was kind of post Don McEwen Soaker days, bleeders and all that and everything. The 5V and 5T yellow dot bleeders, 1975, priceless. But all of that gone.
yeah, I mean, you had to kind of figure after the fact that their products weren't registered for this current PBA season. Yeah, you get the cost savings on that.
Yeah.
But you kind of read between the lines on how that was handled and talked about, and you're like, yeah, this could be soon. Unexpected timing, I guess, would be the best way to go about talking about it. But I don't think this announcement was shocking. I think it was inevitable at some point.
Do you think it was just a cost-cutting initiative?
I mean,
you could be.
I think it's hard.
Or, all right, second choice, a reallocation of resources.
Well, I think that's the main point here. When you're carrying seven different brand lines,
yeah,
I mean, because you have people that are dedicated to working on projects within those brands, it does stretch you a little thin. And, it's just think about keeping up with all the inventory and what projects are done with which brands and, which brands get releases at which time. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff to unpack there. But I think going from 7 to 6 does make it significantly easier for Brunswick in that regard.
Yeah.
Also, the pro shops, it's 10 or so less balls a year that they have to carry, which shelf space is valuable and expensive. So it's not necessarily a bad thing either for them.
I get it. I'm really curious if they knew that the brand was going away when they relaunched the Piranha.
Yeah, that's the interesting one because, if we would have went like maybe 2 release cycles without a new C300 release, then okay, everybody's like, all right, we know what's going on here. Yeah. But the fact that the Piranha was just on the, not this last release because there was one today, but the one before, it is kind of puzzling that happened, and it's a good ball. So
I know
if you find some in inventory, buy them up.
I've got one. I already have one punched out, so I like it a lot. All right,
it's a good ball.
Moving on, we have a national champion. Did you know that?
No.
What?
National champion?
Yes, we do. The NJCAA national champion. This is their 9th time they won a national championship. Junior college national championship. Come on, man.
Oh, junior college.
You know who this is? The Golden Eagles. You know who that is?
No.
Come on. Rock Valley College.
Oh.
All right. Looky there. Rock Valley College continues to build a championship legacy as the Golden Eagles captured the program's 9th national title. 9th. They would be a blue blood of junior college bowling.
They would be.
Do you not disagree with that or agree?
I don't disagree with that.
All right. So,
add it to the list of 8 national champions we'll have for bowling this year.
All right. Check this out. Let me throw this out here. So this was, do you recognize here? Let me blow it up. Oops. Hang on. Okay. You got to recognize some of these colleges here.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Rock Valley. They have a pretty cool format. Do you know about the format that they have?
No, I'm looking at the scores and I think I got something figured out here, but enlighten me.
They have team, they have Baker, they have singles, and what is the other thing that they have? Hang on. Oh, they have doubles. They have singles, doubles, team, and Baker. Huh.
Sounds familiar.
But obviously not in the CBAA format. No.
Right.
No,
right.
Not at all. But congratulations to the – now the sirens are going off, dude. I can hear them. Hang on. I got to check the map real quick.
If we see things start shaking behind you.
Dude, the sirens are going off again. I have not heard anything from the wife. Hang on. Let me go back to Mike Morgan real quick. Why are the sirens?
You're not a Damon Lane guy? You're a Mike Morgan guy?
Okay, and they don't even have anything up. But the sirens are still going. Okay. All right, man. Hang on. Let me go over to here. More video. I'm looking. Are you looking it up too?
Yeah. It's all north of Mustang. Man.
Okay, I see a rainbow and I see another wall cloud. Okay, that's 59th, so it is north of us. Okay, I don't know why they're blowing the sirens in Tuttle. Anyway, I think we're safe. Wow. In the 25 plus years that we did a live show and podcasting, I guess is what it would have been called, and the Sirius XM show in the fishing world, we never had an interruption due to a tornado warning. So this is a first for me.
Well, now you can say that it's been done.
And it's one little storm. That's the thing. Yeah. One little bitty storm.
Those are the dangerous ones when they're by themselves.
It is a big storm, but okay, the sirens have went off. All right, let's continue. Where was I? No, the sirens are still going. I thought they were done. Okay, so let me pull this up here. So they have team standings, singles. Let's see what singles is. It looks like 3 games.
Yep.
Okay. Then they have doubles, which looks like 3 games.
Yep.
All right. No wins, no nothing. They just bowl 3 games, and then they bowl 3 games, and then they bowl the team standings. Round 1, round 2, and then they do 1, 2, and 3 rounds of Baker for a total pins here of 13,910. So it looks like they earned the victory by an estimated 350 pins.
I think it's a cool format.
It is kind
of
cool.
As just a like a a multi-team event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
that. I didn't know it existed.
Well, I'm here to help.
You're here to enlighten me. Yes.
All right. As I watch Mike Morgan. Okay, let me just make sure. Yeah, there still is a big wall cloud out there, but it is more toward the Oklahoma City area. Okay, I should be good. How do you think my players from Hawaii think about this?
They're probably really confused right about now. What is that noise? Is that a siren?
Yeah. So I will check on them after we do the show. So, all right, I've got this wonderful sheet that Joshua built and did all the work on. Let's bring him in, and hopefully the sirens won't go off anymore. Joshua, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Sounds like you're in the midst of, a Sharknado over there.
He's in the thick of it.
You ever been in a tornado?
Yes. North Carolina does have a lot of tornadoes sometimes, but not as much as you.
It's crazy because over the recent years, Tornado Alley has really turned into Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, not Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Arkansas, that kind of region. But we're off to a whirling start here, pardon the pun, and we haven't even cleaned halfway through March yet, and we're already having sirens going off. So first time for the show that we've been interrupted by a tornado warning, but we are moving on and moving forward. So I appreciate you taking time to do this. And obviously you listened to a previous show that Jonathan and I did, and you sent me an email and you put together a bunch of stats for me. And your conclusion before I put up this color-coded type of statistical data that you put together that I didn't manipulate it. I just color-coded it. And I'll get your thoughts. But what are your thoughts after doing the statistical research on the last 20 years and also the most current 10 years in what schools on the men's side have qualified for nationals? What are your thoughts?
So I actually surprised myself when listening to you both. You're like, hey, maybe a school between 20 and 40 got in,
Yeah.
1 year. And I was like, all right, that's kind of the hypothesis I'm going to work with. Then I found, 42, 45, 57. And it's like, oh man, this is quite interesting. So going and delving through the data, like that's what I love to do, especially when it's about bowling. So I was like a kid in the candy store. Like it was great.
All right, give us a little background real quick. You bowled in college, but what do you do for a living from a statistical standpoint?
I am a data consultant for KL Scott Associates. I bowled in college for 4 years at Bowen Abbey, won 3 national championships. I mean, not national, conference championships there. So that was great. Have a bachelor's in psychology and sports management, along with a master's of data analytics, getting a second master's in clinical mental health counseling. So done a whole lot. I even worked for Fox and did some bowling stuff as well. So I love to bowl, but also, got to make a living, and data is one way I do that.
All right. This guy rocks, Jonathan.
I'm in on this. Yeah.
This guy rocks. All right. Now, initially, the premise and what we were looking for, what was the lowest ranked team that qualified for nationals? Correct? Oh, he went away. The tornado got it.
I had like 57.
Here we go.
Okay, we lost it
57.
for a minute there. What was it?
I was switching to my notes, but I knew that was something. It was like North Dakota State and like 57th in like 2008.
Okay.
So,
it's rare then. It is a rarity.
It's rare. You see it more in the earlier days. Right. The past 10 years, kind of the same, kind of recycled 20 that kind of get in and out. But, in 2013 and below, I mean, schools you haven't even heard of were making it in.
All right. I'm going to throw this graphic up on the screen now. Okay. And this is what I did. I color coded. All right. We're going to start with the most recent. Now, as I scroll across here, if you do not see a school's name that has color, that means that they only made nationals one time during this 10-year period. So by seeing a lot of color, the conclusion is you got the same teams making the top 16 for the last 10 years. Agree?
Yeah. Agree. And when looking at a school of time, you'd think would have made it in a boatload more times than they have.
Twice. Once in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And here I can scroll across. Let's see here from 2021. There was not a national championship in 2020 due to COVID. So let's go from 2019 to 2014. I mean, look at all that color.
Yeah.
You got St. Francis, Arizona State, Davenport, Lindenwood, Belleville, Morehead State, and Fresno State. Now, granted, in the 80s and 90s, Fresno State was a really, really good program. Okay? But obviously, they're a club team. And the thing that I noticed in this, Joshua, was the trends. The trends. You had teams that had great players for a period of time with some programs, like Robert Morris. I mean, look here. They had a run of 4 consecutive years making nationals from 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. But that team was loaded. loaded. Chris Vi was on that team.
Marshall Kent
was on that team. And they never did win a national championship because look at the bottom as I have the winner for each year, who is the national champion and the runner-up. They were runner-up in 2018, speaking of Robert Morris. But that is one of those schools that the trend really sticks out.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really done anything since 2018.
They merged with Rochester, and they haven't made any national championship since. So
Nothing. But when you look at the last 2 years, look at 2025 here and 2024. Right here. Every single team from the previous 2 years have all been there before.
Yeah.
You have to go to 2023 when St. Xavier, Ottawa from Kansas, and Trine all made nationals. So the premise of what Jonathan and I were saying, there is definitely blue bloods in college bowling. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. And if you even go a little further right with the past 3 years behind that, you have William Penn, who wasn't, blue blood. You have Martin Methodist, which is UT Southern, right? Which at that stretch, they were doing really good. But other than that, like it's everybody who's been there before in 2019, 2018, that 2017. So yeah, besides, St. Francis getting in there. But yeah, it's mainly all the teams that have been there before. Most likely you're going back.
Now, let's do the numbers here real quick. All right. 2025. Okay, Weber International is green. Let's see how many consecutive years that they've made nationals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, from 2019. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They've made it every single year.
Yeah. I think it's like 16 times out of 20. And they only started in 2008. So almost every single year they've been a program, they've been in it.
All right, let's take a look at Wichita State. 2025, 24, 23, 22, 21, 19, 18, 17, 16, and 15. All right, those are the
14.
Yeah, and I haven't even looked at 14.
Keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. I mean, where's it? 13? Did they make it in 13?
It was 19 out of 20. Of the 20 seasons I did, 19 out of 20. And that's not counting the however many national championships they won in the 90s.
Oh, that's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, that adds up.
That's crazy. So what surprised you the most in doing this data, Joshua?
I would just probably say how consistent it was. I know in bowling, we think, okay, these are the top teams. You got the Webers, the Wichitas. If you're more in depth, like if you're coaches, you'll know like the St. Ambroses or the Whitewaters or McKendrees. But like how many of these kind of top 15, top 20 teams stay in the mix every single year? And there's not really much penetration in the top 20, top 25. So when you look at the sectionals kind of qualifiers, you can kind of see, oh, this is how these teams keep getting in year after year after year. And then you'll have like a Smyrna this year where there's 6 teams that could possibly get in it, but you really have those 3 teams that you're like, oh, they're locked to get in. So, I mean, for me, just having it out on paper, that was probably the most surprising thing of how, the rich get richer and still being able to be consistent.
There it is.
The rich do get richer.
I mean, the way he says it is right. Like sometimes you look at some of these sectionals and like he's talking about the teams that you locked in per se, instead of 20 teams bowling for 4 spots, it's 16 teams bowling for 1 spot kind of is what it turns into, unfortunately. That's just the reality of, what we're going to see this weekend.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, a lot of those teams, again, kind of those bubble teams, like you've had Concordia, who was bowling for their season last year in Smyrna, try and make a run at it. You have Trine, again, who they got a new head coach in Hope Grammarly, but they're trying to make a run with a bunch of Team USA guys on the team. So you got a lot of contenders. So it's basically like every person, every team that year is bowling for that one spot instead of it kind of being open season.
Do you like my color coding?
I
Josh?
do. I do like the color. It was a bit much at first, but for me, I was like, okay, what do they correlate to? Right.
What needs color?
Now you know.
Needs color
Okay,
to see it.
Let me pull this up over here. Okay, so this is the number of times over the last 20 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so leading the way is Lindenwood and Wichita State, 19 times out of 20.
Ridiculous.
Now, I put these schools in blue for a reason, because I truly believe that those are the blue bloods of college bowling. So let's go down here. Lindenwood, Wichita State, Calumet, Weber, McKendree, Pikeville, Wisconsin Whitewater, and Midland. Let's stop right there. Do you agree with that, Joshua?
Not Midland anymore. They're good, but they haven't really broken through in the past couple of years.
Okay, but over the last 20 years?
Over the last 20, yeah.
Okay, that's what the premise is. Okay. William Patterson. I mentioned Fresno State because they have a deep history. I still consider them a blue blood program because of the history of that program.
Yeah.
Purdue, St. Ambrose, Saginaw Valley, major history there, but have not really done anything since the days of Bill O'Neill and Rob. Remember Rob, who was there? Brooklyn Rob. So let me keep going here. Newman, Notre Dame College, history. Lawrence Tech, recent success.
Yeah.
That I think they've established. Same thing with Mount Mercy. Okay, then SCAD and St. Francis.
Yep.
Do you agree or disagree with any of those?
I'd agree. SCAD, one of the better teams in the Southeast. I know we saw them everywhere we went. And then St. Francis, Illinois, really tough team to go against. So, yeah, I'd agree.
Okay, so I think that number came down to, what did I put? I think I put it in the notes. Let's see here. There's 43 schools with 2 or more appearances. I added that to your notes. Okay. So out of those schools, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Let's call it 20 because I probably missed one. All right. I know ballpark isn't a good term for a guy that does stats for a living. We're gonna call it 20. So
it's
20,
a 95% confidence interval. That's what we say.
I like that. Okay. So 20 out of the 43 schools that have been there more than twice would be considered blue bloods. That means you only have 23 remaining, all right, out of those 43. And on average, how many schools have a men's USBC collegiate program? I mean, I got a number. I wanted to see what your number was.
On average?
Yeah.
Of those teams have a USBC?
No,
or just
in USBC collegiate.
Oh, there's what, 190? I think we're
okay. That's a good number. I use 200.
Yeah,
that's about right.
Okay, I use 200. So out of 200 schools, year after year, you primarily have, on average, 16 to 20 of the same schools going. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
So I will ask you this question based upon the data, because why, Jonathan? What does the data do?
Doesn't lie.
That's right. Okay.
Stats don't lie.
Stats do not lie. So do you believe, in your opinion, and only your opinion, that it would be beneficial and make college bowling better if there was a USBC Division I and a USBC Division II?
If it was fleshed out on like what you're considered D1 or D2, probably yeah, I'd say so.
Yep, sounds like the conversation we had last week.
And once again, folks, the stats do not. The stats. Let me back up. The stats tell the truth.
Yeah,
that's what I like to say.
They tell the truth. But that last list you had up, Mark, where it was in order from the teams in the last 20 years that have made it 19 times, 16 times. Just think about this if we were applying it to college basketball. Imagine if those same teams made it to the Sweet 16 that many times in the last 20 years. That would be an absolutely crazy thought, right? Now you may have one or two teams like your Dukes and your Kentuckys that they're going to have a high percentage, but I mean, 19 out of 20 is crazy.
It's insane.
Crazy high. Yeah.
So I really, really, really appreciate. Now, I know you've taken a look at the sectionals, and obviously Jonathan and I were in the Fort Worth sectional, which I believe is very, very challenging. I personally don't believe it is the most challenging sectional. Which one do you think is the most challenging?
I'm going to say Smyrna.
Agree.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That one's brutal, man.
My Crusaders are in it, and they're the Cinderella, but it is tough. It's tough. But again, looking at the data, all you need to average is 205. And if you look at it from that perspective, 205 for 64 games, that's not impossible, right? Most of the time, you only need 203. If you want to win it, it's probably 211 to 215, but most of the time it's around 205 for the past 15, 20 years. Smyrna last year was 200, right? So it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable.
What was, and you may or may not know this, what was the lowest scoring sectional that qualified for nationals? Do you know that from last year?
It was Smyrna. 200.
It was Smyrna, 200.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were there, and you're there.
Yeah. That's kind of tough. I'm really interested in seeing 25 years from now when I am long gone, and Jonathan, you're like ruling the world with the CBAA and college bowling. I'm really curious to see if there comes a point that there is a Division I and a Division II, if the USBC collegiate bowling is still around. I think there's a need for it. I think it would be beneficial for the schools involved. I think it would be beneficial for the programs. I'm not condoning give everybody a trophy or a ribbon or a medal or whatever, but the stats don't lie. It is being dominated and has been dominated by a certain group of programs. And unless something unique happens, of which we saw on my color-coded chart, where you get a group of players together like Robert Morris, or like what was the other one? Like Bob Learn's group at Tennessee, like Notre Dame College, the group that they had, where the run that they made over a 5-year period. And there was a couple of, the last 2 or 3 years, Grand Canyon has kind of been the underdog and made nationals in 2019 and then 2024. And I believe in 2024, their head coach was the coach of the year also that year.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's
they're a club team. And they're a club team.
They are. They are a club team. Yes, they are. So let's look at the last 10 years, the winner and the runner-up. Right. Last year, Whitewater, Wichita State runner-up. Previous year, 2024, Weber, Lawrence Tech runner-up. 2023, Wichita. Hang on, let me put it up here. Wichita, St. Ambrose runner-up. Next year, Whitewater, Wichita State runner-up. Wichita State, St. Ambrose, Weber, Lawrence Tech. The next year, McKendree, Robert Morris. And I mean, Robert Morris, you look at the previous 3 years and they were in nationals. They were stacked. They had great players and they just couldn't win a national championship. And Jonathan, we talked about the West Texas State team, and we thought that the Scroggins brothers and Mark McDowell and the other Mark dude that I can't remember his last name was probably the best team to never win a national championship. The Robert Morris team might give them a run for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure, especially in those years, 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Team was pretty good.
Weber, McKendree, and then there is William Patterson, runner-up. Then Wichita State again, Midland, as you mentioned, Joshua, a lot of previous tradition. You look at that run that they had between 2014 and 2017, and then Urbana. Where is Urbana?
No idea. There.
Do you know, Jonathan?
Around.
He's looking it up.
Urbana, Ohio.
Okay.
Closed
Guys,
in 2020.
They made a serious run. I mean, they made 4 consecutive top 16s and made it to nationals. So anyway, what do you think all this means, Joshua?
So what it means is that, first of all, not all schools are just Wichita State and Weber and maybe, McKendree. Like a lot of the youth bowlers, that's the only schools they know. So it's great for recruiting to say, hey, if you want a club atmosphere, you can still make the top 16. If you want an NAIA atmosphere, you can still make the top 16. But what it means for college bowling is that, okay, if we have this kind of overload at the top, what does that mean for the rest of us? If it's just the Wichita State Invitational every single year, that's not really the college bowling experience we want. So what's going to change that, right? You mentioned the D1, D2 aspect, right? NCAA bowling, they're going to that model. So, I mean, we certainly can do it, but that's going to take change from kind of the top down, and they're kind of doing the same thing they've always done. So that might
50
be 50
years.
50 years strong.
Yeah. All right. So I asked the question, and I know Jonathan wants to know the answer and your opinion on this. Have you taken a look at what Jonathan and I are trying to do with a school versus school concept? 3 periods, singles, doubles, and Baker team, where you have that atmosphere, that college competitive sport atmosphere of school versus school.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that would make college bowling better?
I think that would make college bowling better. I mean, I coached at an NAIA school, right? And so regionally, I was in Florida, so it may not be as feasible. But in terms of what would be able to happen where I could go up to, let's say, Florida State, 3 hours away, and then have that for JV guys or whatever, or fill out the rest of my schedule, may go to the SWIBC on that Friday, bowl against, you or Jonathan, and then bowl those 2 tournaments and kind of just incorporate it into my schedule. I think that's great for kind of the guys, like me, who are more of the student versus the athlete and who just want to get more reps in. So, yeah, I love it.
And Jonathan, that's part of the premise, is it not?
That is. Student athlete experience is what's the most important here, right? And to give those athletes that experience, I kind of wish I still got a year of eligibility. I still have my coach. I wish I could go back and bowl in some of these matches, because just the thrill that it is, that competitive environment like Mark talks about. We have a bunch of athletes on both of our programs, right? They're competitive. They want to bowl heads up. They want that pressure. They want, to be able to look the person, across the lane from them that they're bowling against and give them a little crap, right? They want all that. And it's not that the traditional format, you can't have some of that, but we see so little match play in the traditional format that it's hard to kind of get those conditions or have that be a possibility. Now, we voted in the SWIBCs at least to try to get some more match play in our events, because, any time, and Joshua, you probably experienced this too while you bowled, there was nothing like match play. Like if you could get there and be part of that experience, you forgot about the rest of the weekend. All you want to talk about was match play. All the students want to talk about is match play. And so how about a match that the whole thing is basically match play, and it's so engaging and fun for them. And then as a coach too, it's really fun and engaging because we feel like we have a little bit more impact in some areas. But the most important thing is, team versus team. When you go heads up, generally, everybody has a chance. Both teams have a chance at the end of the day. And, I can say confidently, we've rolled up to tournaments this year where that's not the narrative, right? Especially have some of the difficulties, some of these tournaments in the Southwest with the fields we have. And so, just from a coaching perspective, a student athlete perspective, to be able to walk in the door and go, we have a chance today is big. It's big for the experience. It's big for the morale. It's just big for team energy. So all those things accumulate together to basically make college bowling better, right? That's the goal. But then ultimately my favorite part is Mark's end vision of the 64 team bracket.
Oh, yeah.
That starts in the regionals and kind of funnels down, much like we're about to see with basketball here later this month. And, I think that really gives you – because then everybody who makes the dance or the tournament has a chance, right? As we funnel down from 64 to 32 to 16 to 8, teams can sneak through there that maybe would be your 40th or 50th ranked teams in the USBC collegiate standings. And so it just leaves room for more of that than what we have currently.
Yeah. I mean, you all were talking about kind of the junior college, community college scene where it is kind of like that. They bring in basically everybody and you bowl heads up. Now it's not match play, but it still gives that kind of feel of, hey, this is the big deal and you're going to win a tournament, a national championship in one day. So really, really cool format there.
All right. Coach Hayes, who is a friend, has a comment, and I want to see if you might be able to, if not now, maybe on down the line, and actually send me the results of this or your thoughts based upon the data. He wants to know, is there one sectional that has seen more versatility in teams coming out of it? It's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's Addison that's had like the most, I'll change the word versatility with parity.
Okay.
With the parity of teams that have gone there. Smyrna is very kind of the same. Dallas usually stays kind of about the same, depending on who's, between 1 and 4. But Addison, that's where like they send anybody and everybody, right? So one year you're bowling against Purdue in Whitewater. Next thing it's St. Ambrose and St. Francis. So I would say if you come out of Addison, like you've done your homework.
Hey, that's one of the things that shocked me a little bit was that Whitewater this year has to go to Smyrna.
Well, fun fact, Whitewater's men's team is going to Smyrna. Whitewater's women's team, I think they're going to Pittsburgh. When I saw that on the selection show, I was like, wow, they actually split the teams. Huh. So I thought that was interesting because usually
that's possible. You don't hear much about that. You don't see that very often. Yeah.
Now, I do want to mention, Jonathan kind of took you through what we're trying to do with the CBAA, and we realized that there are women's NCAA teams out there that, they're just at a different level. And what we want to accomplish is not just the CBAA for the USBC collegiate or club or NAI or whatever, to give them other options to do this school versus school. We also want to put stuff in place for the women's side of the non-NCAA schools to get an opportunity to go school versus school also. I think it's very important that people understand it's not just a men's thing. It is a men's and women's thing that we are trying to accomplish to make college bowling better.
Yeah, and especially with a lot of the NCAA schools taking up kind of those USBC collegiate spots, feels like there could be more opportunities for them as well. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, man. This is really cool, and I appreciate greatly the time that you spent putting this together. I tried to do it, and you had it at 43. I had it at 38. I was a little bit off, but you know what I was, man? I was in the ballpark. That's my kind of stuff right there, Jonathan.
The ballpark. That's right. Ballpark.
Get you right there, and then hey, it is what it is. But
so, are you going to do any statistical analysis of each of the sectionals? Is there some kind of stuff that you might be able to put together for us to do like a post-sectional statistical show that might show some insight that people have never seen before as the result of what takes place in each of the sectionals?
Yeah, I could do that if we want to do a follow. Well, I don't know if you have a guest next week, but you might have one the week after. But I will put together something if you want to, if I'm welcome back on.
Oh, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna take care of you, man. Hey, you went through a tornado tonight, for crying out loud. All right.
Funny story. When you were going through all that, you said a podcast was never stopped there because of a tornado warning.
Yeah.
I was doing Bowling with the Fef, right, a couple years ago, and he's introduced me, hey, college bowler, blah, blah, blah. He's about to bring me on. Fire alarm goes off in the dorm room. So I'm literally going down the steps, stuff's blaring. I'm trying to do the interview. I'm doing it in the parking lot. It's pitch black because it's the winter time, and then go back into my dorm. So that made me laugh that you were kind of going through that and had
that's a memorable interview right there.
Not as much as yours.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now, I'm old. Forgive me. Where did you go to college again?
I went to Bowen Abbey College.
Okay. Did you have a rival?
We don't have a defined rival. It was Emmanuel, but then we beat them 3 times straight in conference, so it's not much of a rivalry.
So if they did have a rival, who do you think it would be? In other words, if they had a head-to-head match and they did it every year and they alternated home and away, who would be that rival?
It'd probably be Emmanuel. They're in our conference.
Okay.
Right. So that's who like we usually see in the conference finals. Lincoln Memorial would have been there, but their program got dropped. And then there's not really any kind of teams near us that would be considered kind of rivals.
Okay. That's unfortunate. But maybe that'll change on down the road. Rivalries are great. I mean, even though Jonathan and I are really good friends and we turn to each other all the time for advice and guidance and bouncing ideas and all that and everything, but we're pretty good rivals. Wouldn't you say that, Jonathan?
Oh, yeah.
When it never gets old. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. It is something that, and I'll ask this question. There was a match that took place a couple of weeks ago that I actually talked on the show about. It was SCAD versus Weber. Did you see that?
I did see that.
And I believe SCAD swept Weber.
Yeah.
4-0, but it was just straight Baker. And to me, even though it wasn't our format, to me, it looked like they were having a serious good time from a competitive standpoint. I mean, there was trash talking going on, a lot of chirping. Obviously, the brother versus brother thing that was going on there with the Baum brothers. But this is going to make college bowling better.
I mean, every time we get match play, like Jonathan, you and I were in Georgia for the Tier 1 down there. And it's only the top 4 that get match play. Or if you go to Pennsylvania, it's only the top 2 and they bowl 5 Baker games for the title, right? So we don't get that head-to-head. And then if we do, we got to be a little reserved. We got to be, you're always respectful, but you don't really want to show that emotion. But in this kind of scenario, you kind of be yourself, be the Pete Weber, not necessarily, flipping people off and giving the passion up. But I mean, you can still have that student athlete experience and build kind of those friendships that you and Jonathan were talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, we're rivals, but like at the end of the day, we're going to say, hey, that was great. So I love it.
All right. Awesome. Jonathan, you know what we're going to do? Coach Hayes put another comment out there, and I think this is what we need to do because I think it'd be good for me. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of fans out there, I don't know if they truly understand the NCAA women's format. Would you agree with that? Do you think?
I agree. Yeah.
A lot of people, they're kind of confused. They don't really know. We're going to have Coach Hayes on to talk about truly what the NCAA women's program is all about. The 2 divisions. You know what I do know? And tell me if I'm wrong, Coach. If you're still on here, you can let me know in the instant feedback. Is Conference USA the top conference?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Have you seen the polls when they put the conference names next to the teams?
Yeah, I have.
It's like 9 out of the top 10.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It's like the SEC of bowling for women.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So I would really appreciate Coach Hayes coming on and talking a little bit about the NCAA. The other thing is, too, when we're recruiting girls for our women's team, I think there's a lot of misinformation and direction on what takes place with an NCAA program, with an NAIA program, and with a program like ours where you do get scholarship money, but it's not a true club where we get support from the athletic department. So from a recruiting standpoint, I think it would help too. And come on, let's face it, Jonathan, when we are recruiting, and I've said this on this show before, you can tell from an ability standpoint who the NCAA women recruits are.
Yeah.
You just can. You agree with that, Joshua?
I do. I was recruiting a girl. She won junior gold in the U12s. And I was like, yeah, I mean, junior gold's junior gold, so I'll take it. But her senior year, she might get taken by one of these NCAA teams, and then
and I just think that there's a lot of confusion. I don't know if that's the right word. Uneducation on the recruiting process in all categories that are available for the women. Is that a good statement, Jonathan?
Yeah, that's right. If we could hand every junior or senior bowler in the country a one-pager that breaks down their options and what their options mean, we would be onto something. And what I have found works, and Mark, I don't know if you've gotten the chance to do this much. Like, I know Oklahoma is a different bowling scene as far as youth leagues in high school, but here in Texas, we've gotten the chance to talk to some youth league directors, some high school district coordinators, to have them have that information and being able to funnel that down, to the bowlers within their leagues or within their high school conferences. And we have found that to be extremely helpful. So just getting the information to, people who can funnel that down further have cleared up a lot of issues with just not knowing, but then also save us a lot of time when we're having those conversations to allow those students to maybe pre-qualify some programs for exactly what they're looking for, but then also equips the student athletes and their parents with the right questions as well. It's more guided. So, we can turn an hour recruiting meeting into a really diligent 30-minute meeting, and that works well for everybody.
Here, ask another question, because I'm getting ready to put Joshua on the spot here, but I've got to get this pulled up.
All right. What do I got in the bag? Well, I guess, Joshua, going back to what you had with the stats, and one thing you said off the top that I really stuck out to me, and now that I've been thinking about it, I think it's true. You've talked about the fact that those 40, 50 teams, that was back in 2008. That was a long time ago. And the fact that it almost looks like it's gotten even harder than ever the further we've gotten towards today for those lower teams to make it. What did you see on that data? Was that something that was kind of shocking to you maybe?
It wasn't shocking, because it's more confirming like the thought that we all have. Like, whether it's bowling or being a coach, you're like, okay, if you had to guess which teams were going to make the national championship, you could probably fill out, 13 of the 16 that were going to get in. But it's kind of like, okay, who's going to make it this year, or which sectional maybe is lacking this year, where you can see probably 2 or 3 get in that you didn't expect. So I would say it more confirmed it to me rather than saying, oh, there was something different and new.
Does it surprise you that in the last 2 years, no new teams made it from the 10-year window?
Not us. Not us.
Well, it just confirms what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And, it's got even harder for even those Cinderella story teams to make a run. It's gotten that much more difficult.
Well, I said the number. What was it? 4 or 5 in the last 10 years? Were Cinderella teams?
Last 10 years.
That's not very many. Okay, hang on.
Out of 190, 4 or 5 in the last 10 years.
That's good. All right. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and we're going to go through each one of these. Tell me, who do you think the top 2 teams, not top 4, top 2 from each of the sectionals, and an underdog? Okay. No, I don't want to get into 4 because we're both in the Dallas one. All right, so here we go. That's the first page for Dallas on the men's side.
All right.
Who do you like?
Besides the obvious bias of 1 and 2 being DBU and Southern Nazarene, I'm going Wichita State, Newman. It might actually go first 4. It might just, yeah.
No, hang on. Let me go to page 2. I think this is page 2. No, that's the women's. Hang on.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll watch party.
Yeah, hang on here. There we go. There's page 2. DBU there for the first time, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Probably, if anything, my heart would say Judson. Those guys are really good. Noah.
Their women's team's really good.
Their women's team's really good.
Yeah.
If I'm picking I'd say Judson.
Okay.
Oh, imagine if a 72 seed or 72 rank made it.
All you have to do is average 205. Again, it sounds so simple, but over 64 games, like that's where it gets tough. Yeah.
So simple. All right, let me see if I can get the next one pulled up.
I mean, just thinking about having Wichita, Newman, and St. Francis.
Yeah.
In the sectional, it's just
it's
wild.
In Xavier, they've got a couple Team USA guys on their team, like it's bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's the next one. Pittsburgh, page 1.
Pittsburgh. Aquinas College.
Really like them a lot.
Friends of the program.
Yeah. Coach K.
Good. Muskegon will probably try and make a run, but top 2 probably Lawrence Tech, Indiana Tech.
Okay.
I like Milligan out of that section.
All right. Let me go page 2.
They lost a lot of players. A lot of the players transferred, so that's why they're not as dominant as they are.
Where's page 2? All right, here is page 2. You see any underdogs? Any Cinderella story?
Not any Cinderella stories in this group.
Okay, fair enough.
I love Stony Brook. Me and the coach from Stony Brook, we went to a recruiting event in Delaware together. Great dude. But
okay, let's go to the next one.
Not gonna happen.
All right, this is the toughest one. Page 1, Smyrna.
Honestly, I'd probably say Weber and SCAD 1 and 2.
Wow.
I think Whitewater will probably get in. Underdog Bowen Abbey, because you got Purdue in there who can make a run. You got Tennessee Wesleyan who can make a run. Emmanuel, historically great, but in terms of now, they're not getting to that point yet. Lindenwood, I mean, if you look at the data, Lindenwood. I'll look at it, but my heart is with the Crusaders of Bowen Abbey. They're going to make it this year.
All right.
You just look at that first page, Mark, of all 10 of those teams.
I know.
If 4 is out of any of those 10, I don't think we're surprised about any of them. That sectional is really good.
Oh yeah. All right, hang on here. This is page 2. Here we go. Any Cinderella stories there?
I mean, Florida State is always good. I'll say Florida State's always good, especially in Baker. In the Southeast, they're always good in Baker. So if they're on the train, they can make it.
Okay. All right, and then there should be one more. Addison,
Illinois.
Yeah, here we go.
A wild card.
Yes. Right, because if you look straight at this, Pikeville, who's made it a bunch of times,
they're
in 6th. Now they don't have Bryce Oliver this year, so that's probably why if you make a top 4, they wouldn't make it. I'd probably say St. Ambrose, Mount Mercy. St. Ambrose Mount Mercy 2. And then let's go the reigning national champions, Rock Valley.
Ha!
Rock
Reigning
Valley.
national champions.
They've got the hardware already.
Yep, Coach Tony, great dude. So let's go Rock Valley.
All right, let me see page 2. No, that's still page 1. Hang on. Page 2. Here we go. Here's page 2. Any Cinderella stories there?
Davenport's traditionally good.
Yeah.
They're in a tough spot because they're also in Iowa, so they'll usually get outgunned by like Mount Mercy and all that. But when they go up to like Ohio and stuff, they're like pretty good.
Very nice. I took you away. I hit the wrong button. All right.
We looked at the
All right, that
comments.
was cool. All right. No disrespect to the women. I don't have.
Yeah,
That'll
they'll get
hold up.
number 33, Jacksonville State, right? So,
He said it.
There you go.
I do the rankings for some of these, and I'm like, okay, like bouncing the 10 NCAA teams, and give credit to the other USBC teams that are in there. But
Yeah. Hey, Coach Hayes, I see your last comment that I'm not going to throw that out there because we're going to get into that when we have you on the show. So,
He's saying what we're all thinking. But anyway.
yeah.
We'll have to unpack that later on.
Yeah, we will touch that subject matter when Coach Hayes is on the show. All right, man. Anything else you want to send our way statistically? You said you were involved. Are you involved in any polls or anything? What was that?
So I'm in the International Bowling Media Association. So we do the All-Americans, the collegiate committees, stuff. If you see the rankings, I'm on those polls. So yeah, and I also vote for the All-Americans as well.
Hey, here's an interesting thing to look up. See, I come up with this weird stuff that nobody else probably cares about, Jonathan. All right,
That's
how
what
many
PhD
All-Americans have went on to win a PBA title?
Not many.
Not many. That I do know. I'm in the ballpark on that one. Not many.
Let's see.
2? We have a year range.
All right,
here.
so let me throw something out there because once again, this is a comparison and there's a lot of reasons for it. And we could do a 3.5 week show on it, Jonathan. But how many All-Americans in college basketball? How many All-Americans in college football? How many All-Americans in college baseball have went on to have successful pro careers and went on to win national championships? At the pro level.
Well, a lot more in the major sports because they issue a lot more All-American awards.
I know. I get that. But at the same time, is the infrastructure of going from college sports to professional sports more inclined to have success at the professional level than what we are currently doing in college bowling?
Yes.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
The most recent is Brandon Bonta. But if you say go beyond that, you're scratching your head trying to figure out, who won it.
Well, here's another point. General bowling fans, let's say they
Coach Hayes
watch.
is cracking up at my comment.
Let's say they make, they watch maybe some of the Bowl TV qualifying, but they're watching all the TV shows. How many of those fans of bowling actually know who the collegiate All-Americans are every year?
Nobody. Now, let me ask you this. And since you guys are entrenched, I know Joshua is. Okay. Did Wichita State do any promotion about what Bonta did as him being a Wichita State alum? Have you seen anything?
I haven't on my side of social.
Why? Why not?
Because that's the standard.
Because collegiate bowling's got a marketing problem.
Ding, ding, ding.
As a marketing professional, my professional assessment is college bowling has a marketing problem.
I would be blowing that up. Not that they need to, because they're what, the greatest collegiate bowling program in the history of college bowling. But at the same time, hey, that's representation right there. Is it not, Joshua?
Yeah. Hey, the guy who was here last year just won a major championship and threw 300 on TV.
Yeah.
Not even
Wichita State, baby.
Yeah.
Facebook post. Nothing.
Nothing. I was mind boggled by that. Either that or I was just blind because I didn't see it.
I don't even think they
understand.
shared any of the PBA posts on like their Instagram story or anything. Even I didn't see anything from any of those accounts. Not even a little story, like a 24-hour blurb. Nothing. So,
Now,
right.
maybe
Hey, Coach Hayes has a question for you. He wants to know, do you like Frank's ranking system?
I like it because I don't want to build another one. I love it. Right. My thing is, if you understand the rules, right, then that's fine. Again, like the undisclosed person said, you don't have to go to Vegas. You don't. You can go pick off these tier twos, get 150 points, get ranked in the top 25, and then go to Pittsburgh or whatever. And then everything culminates at, sectionals, and you see if you can bowl, 205 and make it. Right. So it's like, all right, that's cool. If I was going to make a different one, you'd have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like not really worth changing that.
Is there any way to identify strength of schedule? Because you're not really competing against another team. You're competing against yourself.
I do strength of schedule if you said the things that we all know. It's like, okay, if you go to X conference tournament, or you go to this, or you go to the Leatherneck, which is going to be, more beneficial in terms of the rankings. You may get more points, but are you really beating better teams? But the system doesn't reward you for beating better teams.
Yeah.
It just rewards you for beating a team.
Yeah, but there's like 10% of the teams at the Hoosier that have an opportunity to win, realistically.
Yeah, but the Hoosiers for points, right? If your season comes down to the Hoosier, I don't know what to tell you. But
it is what it is. It is.
I don't think it would be hard to develop an RPI based system for collegiate bowling. Yeah, if you take all the teams that are ranked on the USBC Collegiate and do like maybe a 5-year average, and you group those into like 4 groups for RPI, just like college baseball does. And every time you beat, the teams from Group 1 and you lose to the teams from Group 1, win-loss record in each of the groups and rank them that way. Because then no matter what, tournament you're going to, that team has a ranking in one of those groups. I don't think it'd be that outlandish to track, and I think it'd be a much better representation of a more accurate ranking system.
Look, you've seen it, Joshua. You have seen it.
I've seen
by
it.
game 3, you got half of the field. They're more concerned about not getting tater tots with their cheeseburger than they are filling a frame.
Listen, 8 hours a day on your feet. I mean, and you're bowling 950. We've been there, right? And you're 300 pins at a second, and you're just trying to.
There's got to be a better way, man. There's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way.
And that better way is a 64-person bracket.
Yes.
Hey, I'm in.
Yes. Okay, Frank, Coach said Frank does the power ranking.
Yes, Frank does the power ranking.
Yeah, he has a formula that he posts on his website, the Bowl Point site, the same one we use for the collegiate shootout. Yeah. There's a ranking system on there that he posts.
Do you like that?
Yeah, Frank does a great job, especially on the women's side, for making it kind of comparable. And so that's what we use for our rankings.
Okay.
When I'm looking at stuff, you can go off the USBC stuff, but I always look at Frank's stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd say I feel like it's more accurate.
Okay, I'm going to change my request. Here's my new request. I would like to know if there is how many All-Americans have made, once they graduated, have made over $25,000 on tour. Not even win a title, but in that first year, whether or not they've made over 25 grand.
That number is probably 1 Brandon Bond.
Something is wrong then. That
For Fox, the highest like a regular title would be like 10, maybe 20 grand. So you'd have to look at who's won a major, but all the people who've won majors recently don't bowl college, right? And a lot of the college bowlers actually that are bowling well on the tour,
yeah,
either didn't start, right? Like Packy.
I get it.
Kyle Sherman, he's won twice, and he won with Lindenwood on that team that won the national championship.
Dude,
but other than that,
I'm telling you right now, here is a great thing for you to look into. Where are they now? What are the former collegiate All-Americans doing right now? Maybe they're successful. Maybe they're business owners. Maybe they're working for an architect. Maybe they own a bowling center. Who knows? I mean, I don't even know who they are.
We'll have to scroll LinkedIn versus bowling stats.
It goes back to the marketing problem we have here. Nobody knows. We have a lot of fires to put out, Mark. A lot of fires. Point system.
I got a ton of water. Okay.
Marketing, player development. We got a lot of fires.
No joking around. Joshua, do you see the passion and the desire and just the level of energy that Jonathan and I have to try and make things better for college bowling?
I do, and I think like it can work. I come from the NCAA, USBC collegiate side, and as a coach on the NAIA side of, okay, I have 14 tournaments I can do. 10 of them count. If I can do 4 more, and I got 20 kids who want to bowl, and the most fun in bowling is the head-to-head, and you're saying I can go do that, and it's going to cost me less than spending $10,000 to fly 8 people out to a tournament, I'm in, right? Again, I've bowled college. I understand, like, I want to bowl. I bowled many side tournaments, and all my teammates, we'd all bowl side tournaments every time we're not bowling a tournament, so I get it. I 100% get it.
All right. Very nice. No, I was talking about Coach Hayes asked $25,000 in a season. That's what I'm talking about. Not just in one tournament. I'm talking about the entire season. You know, and part of the challenge is they got to go through the PTQs unless currently they're the top 3 collegiate players in points or average or whatever they're using.
I feel like Ryan Barnes is probably close because he qualified out of the what's called the tour trials last year.
Yeah,
as well. So he's probably up there, but in terms of like actual,
was he an All-American? See that? Yes. I'm assuming he was.
Yeah.
Okay,
but then
we should know that.
Tyro Ingles from SCAD, right? Great bowler.
Yeah,
All-American. Bowling PTQ this year.
Yeah, he's stuck in the PTQ life cycle right now.
Yeah. Vince, did you hear my other idea? And I don't want to really reflect, but the whole combine idea. Did you like that?
I mean, there's bound to be 25 guys that want to bowl on the tour that can hang on the tour because they're winning regionals.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like half of these guys got regionals, but they're like, I don't want to be in PTQ purgatory for 10 weeks.
Because that can be brutal. That's absolutely brutal.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible. All right. And I think there is definitely a need for placing college bowling athletes in a position that if that's what they want to do, okay, well, let's get them a format and a system to make them have the opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
All right.
And I thought when the PBA did that like collegiate cup a couple years ago, that would kind of be kind of like a feeder system, but that kind of died out. Maybe with the new CEO, they might do stuff. I heard they were trying to do a couple more events, so maybe they could bring the Collegiate Cup back and kind of have that kind of pipeline for big talent, especially if, you know, Brandon wins or Ryan or Spencer win.
Yeah.
Kind of see that pipeline, but I would definitely think they'd want to do something with that.
Yeah. Hey,
you have to have some bridge there.
Yeah. Coach Hayes wants to know how many years before NAIA breaks off and does their own thing. Think that'll happen?
Soon.
I'd want to say soon, but it's more of if you're not football, basketball, or baseball, just kind of doing the same thing every single year.
Yeah.
So maybe not. The NAIA championship's great, right? A lot of teams love that. You get the at-large bids if you don't win your conference, but I'd assume they're probably going to stay the same for the next, at least 5 years.
Hey,
there's so many teams in the NAIA that, if you get enough of those programs and coaches together and, they want to do their own thing, I think they have a better chance than anybody else at doing it just because of the number of teams that are in it, and think about that. If that actually happens, then what happens to USBC Collegiate? Because you're talking about, 60 to 70% of teams in USBC Collegiate on the men's side, at least, are NAIA teams. Then what happens? So it's kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah. How many of those NAIA teams will choose to do that? Because even right now, there's some NAIA programs at NAIA schools that choose not to bowl NAIA.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe they go back, maybe they pull some of that. Who knows? Topics of conversation.
Lots to unpack. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Coach Hayes, man, appreciate all the comments and questions and all that and everything, but he has been a road warrior. I think he's been on the road for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just got back from the Music City this last week.
Turnaround.
Yeah. Did Jack State win that? I looked to try and find it. I couldn't find it anywhere.
I found the all-tournament team results, but didn't see anything about the results. I don't know. You want me to find out?
I tried to find it. Was it on the Conference USA side? I have no idea. See, that's a challenge. It should not be that way. Coach Hayes, help me out. Where do we find this stuff at?
Vanderbilt was third.
Jack State win?
Hold on.
Where are you finding this
hard
information?
To find out. Is this Jack State won?
Okay.
They went unbeaten, actually, if you're curious.
Imagine that.
Chocolate. Oh, not chocolate. That's Wichita. But
They won all 13 of their matches.
Where'd you find that at? On Facebook?
On their website. They put an article up. Jack State did.
Oh.
They averaged 222.6 in their 5 Baker matches.
All right, so I ask you a question, Joshua.
Okay.
And you can plead the fifth or do whatever you want to do. Does Jack State recruit or does Jack State select?
They select.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they don't have – it's legacy, right? And you can kind of see it a little bit with McKendree, how they are now. Even though the O'Keefes aren't there, they still bring in kind of those legacy players. And then obviously going down Jack State, year one, winning a national championship, it's kind of like if you want to be here, we pick and choose the best of the best, and then we go win a national championship, and then we've done our part. We say if you come to Jack State, you're going to win a national championship. They go and win a national championship.
All right.
Now, we looked at that sheet with all those teams. How many of those blue bloods is Mark, those highlighted blue teams that Mark had earlier? How many of those teams select and don't recruit?
Same thing.
A lot of them.
Now, granted, I'm not taking anything away from how hard they work to go through that selection process. That is not what I'm saying. All right. They work very hard and they have worked extremely hard to get to that status level. Okay. But they're not grinded. You agree with that statement, Jonathan?
Yeah.
They're not
we
grinding.
live on the other side of that coin. Yeah.
They are not grinding. So it is what it is. And, congratulations for the tradition and the expectations of what it takes to be part of any of those blue blood programs. That's just the way it is. But every now and then you're going to see a George Mason, hopefully, or you're going to see, what happens in the NCAA basketball tournament, the Cinderella story that captures the fans' attention and creates that environment of opportunity rather than this. That is a lot of colors on that sheet right there, my friend.
Well, the last time we had a Cinderella I mean, it was a blue blood Cinderella, but UT Southern, their last year where they just went off and got third.
Yeah.
Right. Because they knew their program was getting shut down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Bob Learn went to what, United Arab Emirates? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Anyway, all right. We've seen plenty of that, have we not, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's gone. It's gone. All right, man. Anything else? Joshua, we're going to have you back on once we determine who is going to be those 16 teams going to nationals. And it's in Green Bay. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep. Green Bay.
All right. The trip north. We will see who will be making the trip north.
Just a funny story, I guess. I actually applied to be Jonathan's GA. So that's how I found out about
Really?
whole CBA stuff. So yes, I did. I applied.
You didn't tell me that, Jonathan.
Well, because he just reminded me. I forgot about that.
Surprise! This is an interview, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I was like, that's how I found out about the CBAA.
Mark, I think I have to bring this guy on.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the origin story.
That is awesome.
Came full circle.
Hey, man, it's cool that things work out. Hey, you have a home anytime you want on being a guest on this show with what you have and the knowledge and all the ability that you have to crunch the numbers. Just consider yourself part of the crew, man.
Cool. The
all
official data analyst.
He's the man, Jonathan.
Yep, I'm in on it. I'm a big stats guy, so I'm all in on as much statistics as we can get on this program here.
We won't get into the left-hander statistic thing, will we? We don't need to do that.
No, we'll stay out of that one.
All right. Are you glad they banned your thing, Joshua?
Nah, I mean, if you're good, it doesn't matter. But
you throw a marble down there, right?
Yeah, but seeing 10 purple hammers on the rack every tournament,
I get it.
I can do without.
All right.
So
no MEK on those purple hammers either. No MEK. All right, man. Hey, stay safe. If weather's headed your way, hopefully take care.
I live in Miami. It's 80 degrees and sunny.
Hurricanes. It's not hurricane season. So you're good to go, man.
You guys having me on.
No, you rock. And we will have you on here in a week or two.
All
right, man. Take care. All right. How cool was that?
That's right up our alley, Mark. We're always talking about stats and trends and
Coach Hayes says, I enjoyed it, Joshua.
Hey, I think a lot of coaches are going to want to watch this episode. I think this is going to need to be shared about because I think it's very eye-opening in some areas. I think
Do you think anybody's ever done this?
The other things.
Do you think anybody's ever done this?
No.
Coach Hayes, has anybody ever done this?
Why dive into it? There's a whole nother discussion to have there, but you know me, I can go down a rabbit hole with some of that stuff. But I think this is a good conversation to have just to talk about what is happening in collegiate bowling, because kind of like what we said back when we were joking about nobody knowing what the All-Americans are and all that stuff. Nobody knows the depths at which collegiate bowling exists or the trends or the programs and stuff like that. So I think it's eye-opening to maybe the general collegiate bowling fan. I think it's eye-opening to some of the coaches that maybe haven't thought about it that way. And I think from, if you're wanting to bowl in college too, for recruits, it's eye-opening to just what the situation looks like. I'm not saying it's going to, majorly change decisions, but it kind of paints a better picture of what the current collegiate bowling landscape is.
Hey, I'm telling you, I have a really good feeling that some good things are about to happen. And I'm not talking about here right this year, this moment. I just think the progression and what we're trying to accomplish. I just got an email from a coach in Ohio, I think.
I remember seeing that come in.
Yeah. So I think we're doing the right things. And once again, we're not trying to take away anything from what currently is being done. We're just trying to make things better. And that's the message. And Joshua had some great stats, and the work that he put in to put that 20-year history together for us was awesome. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if we have a repeat of the last 2 years. Or will
Interesting
there
to
be?
see if we pull that up next week and it's all colored again. We'll see. But
will there be a Cinderella story?
never know. You
We'll
never
see.
know.
All right, man. We will wrap stuff up with just your take on your prep for what's going down this weekend. How has this week went so far, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we've actually had a couple really good weeks of practice. Just from an attention standpoint, it's kind of been pretty relaxed. We haven't gotten too aggressive on some things, but everybody's comfortable working hard. We've dialed in arsenals. We're kind of finishing those conversations this week. Obviously, being limited to 5 balls without urethane, there's a strategy to how to build a bag around that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. We have actually some guys are carrying different arsenals between singles and team.
Yeah.
Based on how we project things to break down. So we had some of those conversations today, and that'll continue on into the week. For us, as far as at practice the rest of the week, it's just Baker. We're just getting fine-tuned into the flow and the pace at which the Baker games occur. And as a coach, I'm practicing through some of the substitution scenarios and things like that, which I think is important. That doesn't really get thought about. But from a coaching standpoint, I need to make sure I'm as sharp as I can be as well. And so we'll work on that the next 2 days. And then me and one of my bowlers, actually, we have to bowl league Thursday night. And then we'll get ready to hammer at it on Friday morning. What's interesting about this weekend for us, Mark, being in at the Fort Worth sectional, is the Grand Prix of Arlington is happening in the Metroplex this weekend. And so teams that weren't able to book their hotels because maybe they didn't know they were going to Fort Worth, way back then, they've had to pay the price for hotels in the area this weekend. So I feel for them on that, but traffic's going to be quite interesting around the central part of the Metroplex. So hopefully
stay away from it.
A few extra hours. Yeah. I'm giving them a nice warning. Make sure if you're anywhere, as far as, the east side of proper Fort Worth,
yeah,
it's gonna be pretty thick over there. So
yeah,
budget some extra time, but good practices, good simulation training is what we have the rest of the week. We got a little spare shooting in today. So that's always a good thing, right? Because we know over 64 games, you got to have that. And I know that's been the thorn in Mark's side recently.
Yes, it has.
Spare shooting.
Yeah. 3 things, man. We worked on 3 things for the last month. All right. Mindset, game management, all right, and fill in frames. Those 3 things. And we have done primarily Baker the entire practice. I mean, yeah, we stick a few cleanup drills or stuff in there, but there has been a lot of Baker. And, when I say game management, you would be amazed at the comprehension of understanding the roots of Baker play. You know what the roots of Baker play are, Jonathan?
What?
2 shots.
Yeah.
2 shots.
So what's crazy, have you done
that's it.
Have you done the math on the fact that if somebody on your team, now granted, if they're the anchor, it's a little different. If somebody on your team bowls the entire 64 Baker games, they're only bowling just under 13 total games over the course of the weekend.
Yes.
So you think about that, and the actual volume of bowling is not great, but it's just the mental fortitude of being in that center for 10 hours each day, locked in on what's going on, fighting through the frustration, because it's going to get hard. We know it.
Yeah.
Not getting sucked into the peaks and valleys of emotion. Do you know who Joe Slowinski is? Have you seen his stuff before?
No.
Bowling Knowledge page on Facebook. He does a lot of clinics around the world. He was a coach at Weber in the early 2010s, and I'll send you a link to it. He made a Facebook post about the 2010 run that Weber had at sectionals, and I would suggest you read it off to your players. It's a really good deep dive into mindset, the emotional roller coaster they were on, because after the first 16 games, they were in 13th. We're talking about Weber International here.
Yeah.
They were in 13th. They ended up winning that sectional. So it just talks through some of that stuff. So I think it's really cool. So I'll send that to you. Definitely send
it my way.
Players.
Right.
I shared that with my team yesterday, and it was a really, really good message. So.
Send it to me. You know what I did? You'll laugh at this. I talked about Bill Buckner. You know what Bill Buckner was saying?
Of course you did.
Is that not a good one?
It is.
You know, who wants to be the dude that lets the ball go between the legs to lose a World Series?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. Bill Buckner. Who would have ever thought that would have been mentioned in collegiate bowling?
So I guess since
Probably
we're wrapping
not.
up our sectionals conversation, what obviously one of the biggest portions of this weekend is the fact that for the first time all year, outside of like our matches and stuff, there's singles action going on. How have you approached with your players on singles? Have you given them any time to work on their games that way, or talk to them through that at all? Or you're like, hey, you're on your own?
Not really. I mean, a little bit, but you know what that's all about. That's all about getting matched up as quickly as possible and really identifying when transition starts and either making the right ball change or making the right move. So what I have done from a single standpoint is we have really talked about arsenals and going through the process during practice of decision-making and really improving their reading and reacting, because that's what that 6 games is all about. Because when you see certain ball motion, or you see, you go to a pair that's just been totally torched because somebody thought that they had to throw a ball with 320 because it wasn't hooking and they torched up an area of the lane, to be able to identify that, but more importantly, to have the confidence to either make a ball change or make a move, make a jump. That's where they are going to get better. And that's kind of been my focus, is that reading and reacting. Kept it simple. Don't complicate it, man.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
You might not have the answer to this, but I know you're going to laugh when I ask. Why can't we surface bowling balls during practice?
I don't know, dude. I mean, why can't we bring 6?
Does anybody have an explanation on the no surface during practice? Because tell me, there's nowhere else that exists.
I don't know. Don't know. Hey, you're in the HQ. You find out.
You know what? I'll see if I can find an answer. I'll try to find an answer for you. How about that? I'll try to find an answer.
Yeah. But hey, the other thing that we have done the last 3 weeks, we have bowled on very challenging patterns. And I did a lot of research on, not just the collegiate events that have been at City View, but other events that have been at City View. I've watched film. How many coaches out there have actually done research and looked at ball motion and how patterns have broke down at events at City View, to get an idea of, okay, well, we know that those panels are 21 years old or whatever it is. We know that friction is going to come into play with whatever pattern. So I have even went to hand oil to try and duplicate what previous patterns and what historical data shows me from a pattern standpoint, with obviously not being able to totally duplicate the sheets that exist at City View, because that's almost impossible to do. So It's been demanding. It's been a case of they may shoot $140, but then they come back and shoot 230 the next game, because that is what is going to happen in 64 games. Yep. You're going to be in the valley, and we talk about you gotta move dirt, okay? And the only way that you move dirt in the valley is by climbing the hill. So a lot of that, once again, back on mindset. So, hey, and we're young. I mean, I got a young squad. I have one junior, and that's it. Everybody else is either sophomore or freshman. So a lot of them have not experienced what they're about to go through. You try and simulate what you can, but you just can't duplicate what they're about to go through this weekend. Yeah. So you ever done that? Watch film?
Yeah.
Previous stuff? Yeah. Dude,
before we went to Georgia this year, because it was our first time we had been to that tier 1.
Yeah.
They had Bowl TV there last year. So I went to the archives, pulled up, just the middle pair or whatever that they had streaming, and watched. Watched some 20 minutes early, 20 minutes in the middle, 20 minutes late. and to just see what the progressions were like, what balls they were throwing and stuff like that. And I would say that definitely helped us be closer on our first trip there.
All right, last question. What do you think the non-urethane effect is going to have as we progress to like game 8, game 12, game 14 of each of the blocks?
I think because without urethane, I think that a lot of teams are going to jump on some pretty low surfaces. Like I'm talking 180, 360 grit surfaces on some balls to try to create something. I just think that's what's going to happen. And the problem is if everybody was throwing them in the same exact place, I don't think you have an issue. Yeah. But naturally, you're going to have teams starting in different areas. And so I think what's going to happen is it's going to become very pair-to-pair. You're going to really have to know who started on that pair and, obviously who you're following as you rotate for each set, because that's going to be an important thing to know where your laydown points are. And if you're going to be laying it down in those areas, it's going to be important. I think the heads are going to go quite quickly because of that. I'll be interested to see pattern structure-wise if they design, it with a lot more volume in the front to combat that. But I guess we'll find out after we're done bowling if that's.
You think greater than 30 mils?
I would hope so. For considering there's no re-oil during lunch and you got to go through 32 straight games, I would hope so. Yeah. But who knows? I last year I want to say it was right at 30-ish if I remember correctly. We bowled on last year's team pattern today at practice actually. Yep. But they're usually asymmetrical patterns too, which is interesting. So that's always something you have to think about. But
did you see, by the way, speaking of patterns, did you see the PTQ pattern for this week? Dude, it looked like
the new Scorpion. The new Scorpion. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's interesting. But what's funny is with those new pattern graphs, because with the Atlas you can raise and lower the brush and kind of create those things.
Yeah.
It all ends up getting blended out because oil doesn't stay. It settles. And so I had a conversation
with stationary liquid.
Some people about that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, if we're talking about the Glide conditioner, that's a little different because of its actual properties.
Viscosity.
Conversation. Yes, viscosity. How refined the oil is makes a big difference too.
Yes,
I've learned that as well. I like Coach Hayes' last comment. You have to understand the topography there from the low end to the high end because at City View it's a big difference. And now with that wall in there, one of the bigger differences is temperatures because of the HVAC system. And the building was designed to be one big building. Now you put a wall up, on lanes wherever between 42 and 43, I think is where it is.
Yeah.
It changes the temperature zones. And so, that factors into how the lanes break down as well.
Well, there's only going to be 20-something lanes being used though. Is that not right?
Well, you have the girls too there.
Yeah, the girls will be on the other side probably.
So what's interesting about the wall is the fact that the high side of the wall, they have different pin setters, different kick plates.
Yeah, the Brunswick, New Brunswick.
The lane beds are the same, but the rest of the stuff is updated.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed to bowl the same number of games on either side of the wall. So your sectional singles rotation, depending on how many games you bowl on the right side of the wall, how many games you bowl on the left side of the wall.
Do we have controversy already without a shot being thrown?
I'm just saying theoretically it could be a thing. But, either way, with 6 games, you end up covering the whole house anyway. But if you start, I think, right on the wall, we had somebody last year that ended up bowling 4 games on one side and 2 on the other instead of 3 and 3, like some other players did. So, I don't know. That's nitpicking. I get it. But it's people don't think about it. You have to think about all these intricacies. We're going to
it's all good. It's all good, man. I will see you on Friday, no doubt. And wish you guys all the best. And I'll see your crew, at least some of them on Friday, and then we'll see you on Saturday. But fun weekend, man. It is a grind. And when that last game is bowled and it's over, you will look back and go, what if? What if? And hopefully
everybody
you and I don't say that.
Players will do it. Coaches will do it. Yeah. But maybe we're celebrating. We don't know, right? Special things can happen.
This is true.
Safe travels to you and your group. We'll see you down there in Fort Worth. And my crew will find you. They'll start screaming your name when you walk in the door. So.
All right. Once again, I want to thank Joshua Atkinson for being a part of the show today. If you missed it, go back and watch it, man. It is good. Good stuff. And He will be back on the show here in a week or two as we analyze the results of each of the sectionals for USBC Collegiate 2026. All right, dude. 2 more days of practice, and then we get after it. So stay safe, and I will look out for tornadoes, man.
Yeah, careful over there.
I know.
We're going to get that weather a little later, so I'll be watching that here in a few hours.
All right. Stay safe. All right, that's it. We're out of here.